Homeless man, no ID. He's been bludgeoned to death.
Weapon?
We haven't found it yet. Sarge, the body's been here for at least a week. He's pretty right. The rats have got to him too, so between them and the maggots, there's not much face left. It's going to be pretty tricky to get an ID.
Who found him?
Surveyor. He's still getting over it.
What's a surveyor doing here?
Matt and Duncan are finding out now.
Morning, Sergeant.
Detective Senior Sergeant, I'd appreciate it if you could restrict your movements to here for now.
Of course.
It's not much to show for a life, is it?
No, it is not.
The building's scheduled to be demolished next month. It's going to be a homeless shelter.
Bit late for our friend here.
Surveyor was doing some check measurements. It was the smell that alerted him.
Hang on. Have a look at this.
What is that?
St. Christopher, patron saint of travellers.
Not only of travellers, but archers, boatmen, bookbinders, fruit dealers, gardeners, mariners and taxi drivers, and sudden death. I had cause to look it up once.
There's an engraving on the back. Prudence.
Prudence?
As in the highest virtue or the woman's name?
The only prints are the victims, and forensics are still going over his clothes and bedding for hair and fibres.
Thanks, Karen.
And the medallion and chain are real gold, 18 carat.
Well, he must have known, otherwise we would have flogged it.
Maybe he wasn't the full quid.
Maybe he thought St. Christopher would protect him.
Didn't work, did it?
Perhaps prudence meant more to him than money. Let's circulate a photo to jewellers and engravers, see if anyone remembers it.
To Kill a Mockingbird, well thumbed, but no name.
I read that at school.
Everybody read it at school.
I watched the movie.
There you go, this looks promising. Johnny Fountain, Carol Bridges and Sid Church.
We'll run them past the local divvy guys, they might know them.
And now abideth faith, hope, charity, these three, but the greatest of these is charity, Corinthians 13:13. Fran and Joseph Benson providing a feed for those in need.
Do you recognise this?
I'd recognise it anywhere. It's Ben's. Ben Parks. Poor man, murdered.
Yeah, probably over a week ago.
Receive his soul into your care, O Lord, for there is no sorrow, no weeping and no pain, only the fullness of peace and joy and love forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
What can you tell us about Mr. Parks?
Name wasn't Parks.
Well, you just said his name
That's
was...
what he was called. Ben was his first name and he liked spending his day in the parks.
So Carol Bridges, Sid Church and Johnny Fountain.
Johnny was very down during the water restrictions when they turned off all the fountains.
How long had Ben been coming here?
10, 11 months?
Yep,
Yeah. Pretty new to the streets back then.
How could you tell?
Well, clothes were in fairly good nick and they fitted him, you know. It wasn't St. Vinny's or Salvo's gear, you noticed that.
Anything else you can tell us about him?
He was a lovely man. Always friendly, very polite. I could see the spirit in him. Used to bring others here for something nourishing.
Did he have any enemies?
These souls live on the streets. Violence is a day-to-day part of their lives. Sometimes they even get stuck into each other. Ben did a bit of that.
Selling the big issue.
No. Life drawing classes. Said he liked posing in the nutty. Nude and proud, he used to say. Funny old bugger.
Nude and proud. Yeah, he used to stand up there with his arms up, with it all just hanging out. It was a bit confronting for some of our younger students, but he was a nice old bloke. Very gentle man. Who'd want to hurt him?
Well, that's what we're trying to find out. How many homeless people do you use as models, Mr. Armstrong?
Call me Corey. Only a few. We also use uni students, single mums, anyone who needs a few extra bucks and isn't shy. Interested in life drawing, detective?
Yeah, always been a very big art lover.
Well, you should come along. You too.
Oh, no, I can't draw to save my life.
How about as a model, then? You have lovely eyes.
No, thanks. Did Ben ever talk about himself or his family?
It's not really that sort of gig. Models don't get a chance to chat much. Sorry.
Tell me, did any of your students get a good likeness? See, the thing is, due to the state of the body, we don't really know what Ben looked like.
I did a portrait of him, actually. He had a really good face.
Can we see that?
It's at my studio at home. He did a private setting for me. I offered him some extra cash, but he wouldn't take it.
Could we get that then? That would be very helpful.
Sure. I'll be finished here soon. You're more than welcome to wait.
Johnny Fountain, a.k.a. John Fortescue. Has he got form?
A couple of minor priors for drunk in public places.
He's known to the local division. We've flagged him as wanted for interview.
Apparently the guy was a dentist.
A dentist?
Poor bugger.
Never feel sorry for dentists, sadistic bastards. What else we got?
Nothing on Carol Bridges or Sid Church.
Hang on, I think we just had a blonde moment. I asked you what you got, not what you haven't got.
Detective Ryan, any luck on that St Christopher?
Not so far, Sarge.
It's weird. You know, homeless guy's got a solid gold medallion and whoever kills him doesn't take it.
Kids who beat the crap out of drunks for fun don't check them for jewellery.
Oh, we don't know they were kids and he wasn't drunk.
It wasn't a fight over a bottle of mess or something.
Blood alcohol was 0 and he has the liver of a 20-year-old.
For all the good it did him.
At least now we know what Ben looks like.
Art teacher did his portrait. Ladies and gentlemen, our deceased, known as Ben Parks.
Let's get this photographed, run it in the newspapers tomorrow. Hopefully someone will recognise him.
Yeah, then we'll have dotted our I's and crossed our T's.
Meaning?
I'm just being realistic. We got bugger all. He's been dead for over a week. No one noticed. How many unsolved homeless murders we got sitting on our books?
Well, off the top of
There
my
were
head.
300, stretching back 20 years. I mean, no one likes it, but it's a fact. The reason these poor bastards are on the street because no one gives a rat's.
But he must have a family.
Well, then shame on them. When no one comes forward tomorrow, reallocate our resources and file this away with the rest.
There you go, Mick.
Cheers, boss.
Get that into you. Philippa. Now, this will be in all the papers tomorrow, but we figure a lot of the homeless might not see it.
Doubt if they keep up with current affairs.
If you can show it to anyone you come across.
Will do. And thanks for these. Gets a bit chilly out here when the sun goes down.
No worries. Catch you later.
Rats?
Yeah, bloody noisy rats.
Police, stop right there. Just stay there and keep your hands where I can see them. Stop, mate. You won't fit. All right. Come on.
I didn't do anything.
Yes, you did. You entered a crime scene.
That's a big no-no.
Didn't you see the tape or the police cars out front?
No.
How'd you get those?
In a fight?
Who with?
Don't know.
You're in enough trouble without the attitude. What's your name?
Jack.
Jack what?
Ford.
What were you doing there tonight, Jack?
Looking for somewhere to sleep.
Why that building?
I don't know, I just saw a way to get in. I'm only 14, so you can't put me in jail. Shouldn't even be questioning me. You know the law.
14 years old. How do we let 14-year-olds live on the street?
How do we let anyone live on the street?
Give us a phone number.
No, my old man'd kill me.
We can call your mum, get her to come in.
My mum's dead. My old man's wasted half the time.
All right. Auntie, Nan, neighbour, teacher. Who do we call?
Nobody, just let me go. I wasn't doing anything. I was just looking for somewhere to sleep.
Okay, Jack. A social worker will arrange some emergency accommodation. You'll be fine, mate.
Check to see if he's got a record and get a photo up to missing persons. Someone might be looking for him.
No worries, Sarge.
It looks like our father, except a little older and thinner.
And the medallion. It's his St. Christopher.
When was the last time you saw your father?
Just over 10 months ago.
Is there anything else you can tell us about the medal?
It's gold.
It has our mother's name engraved on the back. Prudence.
Yes, it does. I'm very sorry.
I need to see him.
Ms. Misto, your father was badly beaten, and his body wasn't found for some time.
I don't care.
The reason we published the photograph of the painting is because he was unrecognisable.
I'll recognise him.
Ms. Misto, perhaps I haven't made myself clear. There were rats in the building where your father was found. Rats are carnivorous.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Can't you make a positive identification using his dental records?
We can now, yes.
I still need to go to him.
Alex.
Oh, and I need to say goodbye to our father. In the paper, they said his name was Ben. It's not. It's Bernard. It's Bernard Misto.
Please forgive me for asking, but how did your father end up destitute and homeless?
He wasn't destitute.
He was a multi-millionaire.
This is Dad as we knew him.
Can we borrow these? I'll be returned.
Yes, of course. Have you any idea who might have done this?
We're investigating several possible leads.
Mister, you live here alone and your brother lives with his wife and Q, is that right?
Yes.
Alexandra. Can I get you anything? A cup of tea?
No, thanks.
This is my wife, Charlotte. Darling?
Detective John and Freeman.
Hello. Oh, God, I'm sorry. I'm a mess. I can't seem to stop crying. Oh, Bernard.
We are very sorry for your loss.
Mister, if you and your sister are up to answering a few more questions.
Yes, of course. Anything.
Your father, he was head of the corporation?
Yes, he was the chairman of the board.
So what effect did his going missing have on the company?
It was a disruption, but the company is bigger than any of its individual parts.
That's not true, Alex. You pretty much stepped into his shoes.
The real disruption was to our family.
Of course.
We lodged a report with missing persons. We employed private investigators. Nothing. Eventually, we assumed he'd killed himself.
Why?
Bernard never recovered from the death of his wife. Prudence had a brain tumor.
Dad nursed her until the end. When she died, he was inconsolable. Suicidal, just about.
Dad would never have killed himself.
Come on, Alex, he was terminally depressed. Now we find out he was living on the streets.
Sick people do terrible things, Alex.
Not Dad.
There was no contact with any of you from the moment he disappeared?
No. He never used his credit cards or accessed his bank accounts. Nothing.
He must have had a complete mental breakdown in the end.
I do have to ask this. Who stands to benefit from your father's death?
He was our father. There is no benefit.
Financially.
You don't understand, Detective.
Try me.
How much do you make a year? $100,000?
I wish.
We live in a different universe. Wealth generates wealth. To suggest that any of us would ever think in terms of benefiting financially from Dad's death?
It's obscene.
Well, since Detective Freeman and myself are in fact stuck in this universe, we would like to access your financial records, both personal and business.
We should talk to our lawyers about that.
No. No, none of us have anything to hide. I'm fine with it. Alex?
Of course.
No new developments?
Apart from identifying the victim as one of the richest men in the country, no.
Don't get funny with me, Stanley. I'm not in the mood.
No new developments.
Put every member on this. Press are all over it like flies in a steaming turd.
Amazing how they're interested now.
Homeless Darrow turns out to be a crazy rich bastard. Who saw that coming? Assistant Commissioner wants us to issue a statement.
That's up to you, sir.
If it was up to me, I'd tell them all to get nicked. Get something to me ASAP.
Superintendent Waverley used to deal with these matters personally.
Yeah, well, Waverley's not here, is she, Stanley?
No, she's not.
And the press hate me as much as I hate them.
No accounting for taste.
So, who benefits most? The family?
Mate, you live in the wrong universe. They don't need to benefit.
To give them their due, Matt, they did report their father as a missing person.
When?
As soon as he disappeared. And they retained 3 private investigators over 6 months trying to find him. And they also let us access their financial records, which apparently fill a small truck.
So they're being helpful. Any other possibilities?
Maybe someone in the homeless community found out his real identity.
But wouldn't you hold him for financial gain? Why kill him?
Okay, so maybe it was a thrill kill. Bernard Misto was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Except he wasn't sleeping out in the open. Someone deliberately went into that building.
The family assumes he had a mental breakdown, but everyone we've spoken to says he was a very sane, caring, gentle kind of guy.
Where are we? We kicked any goals? What's that little turd doing up there?
He's not really a suspect. He just broke into the crime scene.
He is now. His name's not Jack Ford. It's Jaden Frears. Where is he?
Community protection.
What? Why?
Because he's 14 years old.
His ass. He was 18 last time my office busted him. Played you for a mob of dills.
Is he capable of murder?
Only if there's drugs or money involved. What were you doing in that building?
Looking for somewhere to sleep.
What were you doing in that building?
You can't hurt me. This is on tape.
That's broken, dickhead. It's you and me, Jaden. No one else here to hear you scream. You think they've got the system sussed, don't you, Jaden? Get away with murder? Last time, what were you doing in that building?
Looking for somewhere to sleep.
Wrong answer.
No.
You think I'm kidding? You think I'm not serious? Huh? You think I won't do nothing to you, you little bastard?
He kicked us out, Sarge. There's nothing we could do.
Right. Sit down here. Let's try something. Hey, let's have some real fun.
Stop!
How'd you know the old man?
We were mates.
Crap.
We were, I swear. He wanted to help me.
Why would he want to help a scumbag like you?
I don't know, he just did. Reckon he could help get me a job.
You found out he had money. You let him root you, didn't you?
No.
Because that's your form, little toy boy.
No.
And you hit him up for the cash.
No.
Then when he wouldn't cough up, you beat the crap out of him.
No, nothing like that.
Then you went back to the building looking for his stash. That's how it happened, didn't it, Jane?
I didn't hurt him. Ben was a really nice old guy.
Then why'd you go back to the building?
I heard he'd been hurt. I had to see.
Why?
Because he was my friend.
I believe him.
So do I.
Sarge, take a look at this. Several big cash deposits to this account starting 10 months ago and finishing just before Bernard Misto was killed.
Deposits into whose account?
The Bensons, the couple who run the soup van.
So you think they came courtesy of Bernard Misto?
I think it's worth checking out.
Do it then. These are substantial amounts. Let's find out where they came from.
Reporters have been sniffing around. Thought there must have been some mistake.
No mistake. Ben was Bernard Misto. He was a multi-millionaire.
What in blue blazes was he doing living rough?
Yeah, good question. What's the answer?
Well, you know, all it takes sometimes is just one thing to tip the scales. We all reckon it can't happen to us, but it can. We all have a breaking point.
He lost his wife.
That'd do it. Death of a loved one's often the last straw.
These cash deposits.
Anonymous donations. Answer to our prayers. Starting to think they were a miracle. No, without those, we'd have gone under.
You had no idea who they came from?
Nah. You reckon they were from Ben? Nah. If Ben had any money, he sure wasn't spending it on himself.
Okay, thanks very much.
No worry.
It had to be Bernard Misto.
But how did he get the money? He never used any of his bank accounts.
Maybe Jarvis was right. Maybe he did have a stash.
And the killer found it.
Yeah, or not, and that's what Jaden Frizz was looking for.
Wait a minute, you two, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I just remembered something. Jeffrey Hunter. That's who you remind me of. Played our Lord in King of Kings. Oh, beautiful movie.
I'm sorry I haven't seen it.
Very moving. Mind you, they did shave his armpits with the crucifixion, which I thought was going a bit too far.
Right, thanks, Mrs. Benson.
No, that wasn't it. The night before that last donation was left at the van, I saw Ben with someone, a woman, right over there. Now, she was getting into a very expensive car, and I just thought he was hitting her up for a few bucks.
Can you describe her?
Nah, wasn't enough light.
What about the car?
European job, dark. Cars aren't my thing.
Okay, great, thank you.
Can't give you the exact day, but the Saturday the cats crucified the pies. The footy. And that woman, she had a good set of pins on her. Now, that much I could see.
What sort of car do you drive, Ms. Misto?
A Mercedes, why?
What colour?
Midnight blue.
Alex, what's this about?
I have no idea.
Your father was seen talking to a woman 3 weeks ago.
She was getting into a dark-coloured European car.
Of which there must be thousands.
Of course there are. I've got a black Beamer.
That night, a donation of $5,000 was left anonymously at the Benson soup van.
The day before, your bank records say that you withdrew $5,000 from your personal bank account.
A coincidence, it must be.
Did you meet your father that night and give him that money, Ms. Misto?
Ms. Misto?
Alex?
Yes.
What?
And did you supply your father with similar amounts of cash on at least 3 other occasions in the past 10 months?
Yes.
You knew where Bernard was.
You'll need to come down the station and answer a few more questions, please, ma'am.
Yes, of course.
How could you do that to Owen?
I'm sorry. After Mum died, Dad lost the will to live. You hear that, don't you? One partner dies and the other one goes shortly after of a broken heart.
Well, the whole family was a mess, actually. But Bernard, he stopped eating, stopped washing, stopped pretty much doing most things.
He had a breakdown.
Well, if that's what you call it. The only thing he did was go and sit in the park for hours. Just sit there.
But something happened. One day, a homeless man mistook him for a fellow traveller. He gave him a blanket to keep warm and asked if he was okay. That one act of kindness reached my father in a way that we hadn't been able to. He came home and told me what he decided to do. Of course, I tried to talk him out of it, but I couldn't. He had a favourite quote. You never really know a man.
Until you stand in his shoes and walk around in them. That's Bernard. Of course, his own shoes were hand-stitched in Italy.
Maybe he just wanted to know what it was like to be homeless.
No, it was more than that. He wanted to help them. And I thought if he did that, it might help him too.
But in the end, it killed him.
I should have realised how dangerous it was.
So did you, though, didn't it? Your father's disappearance.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Of course it suited her. In his absence, Alexandra runs the company.
My father trusted me to do that, yes. After my mum died, he gave me the mandate in written instructions to the board. He knew that when decisions need to be made, I make them.
Unlike your brother.
It was my father's choice.
She only stands behind Bernard so she can pull his strings. Owen is just as smart and just as capable.
That's a substantial amount of power to give just one person.
No, not really.
And you never told your brother where he was?
Dad made me promise not to. He knew Owen wouldn't understand.
Oh, he'd understand all right. Understand that she was trying to keep all the power for herself. Keeping everyone else in the dark. Even her own brother. Yeah, this is just another way that she can say, look, I win. I'm in control. All of this is mine.
But you must have known that we'd discover those withdrawals.
Yes?
So why didn't you come forward earlier and tell us what you'd been doing?
Because I was scared of what would happen when Owen found out.
The only thing she'd be scared of was losing the power to the throne. Which is exactly what would have happened when Bernard got tired of his little game and came back home.
What Dad didn't realise is the effect it was having on us. Owen especially took his disappearance very hard. We just lost Mum. Dad was suddenly all fired up about saving these people. What he didn't realise is that we needed him too. His family needed him. He was our father.
Talking to the Misto women's a waste of time. My money's still on that little turd, Jaden Frears.
No, he's long gone by now.
Nope, he's in the lockup.
Why is he still in custody?
He's been held over some burglaries in France.
Excuse me, Sergeant, Superintendent.
What?
There's been another homeless murder, same MO.
How long's this one been dead?
Recent, few hours.
So much for the Jaden Frears theory.
Sarge, it's Johnny Fountain. It's definitely the same MO. They're saying the time of death was sometime early this morning.
No. Wolf. Where? There's been another one.
The victim was an unidentified woman. Head was bashed in, no ID.
Same MO?
Definitely.
A jogger called it in, no witnesses at this stage. Uniforms are canvassing the area.
It's looking more and more like thrill kills. Some nutters out there cleaning up the streets.
There's going to be a lot of scared homeless people tonight.
There certainly will be, God help them. Thanks, detectives. Keep us informed.
No worries, Sergeant.
If you've come to rub my nose in it too, Stanley, you can sort off.
I have a problem with the way you interrogated this boy.
He's not a boy. Scum, garbage.
Bernard Misto thought he was worth saving.
Bernard Misto. Now, there's a bloke who had all his marbles.
You crossed the line.
I never laid a finger on the little bugger.
You attempted to coerce a confession which would have been inadmissible in court.
No, I was trying to get the truth. This little prick has a use-by date stamped on his forehead. Get over it.
You try anything like that again, I will take action as that clear superintendent.
All right. We both know where we stand. Now get out of here. I want some good news in the morning. Take that with you.
As the slow moments pass, hope is fading fast, and all I really need is somebody to call mine.
Stanley.
At the girls' home.
Oh, Stephanie's at a friend's house and Susan's asleep. It's late.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to see you. I've been working on these homeless murders.
I really do not miss being a cop's wife.
I'm happy for you. Something came up, got me thinking. Christopher would have been 12 today. It's the first year that we haven't been together on the anniversary of his death.
Stanley, you never once remembered that anniversary when we were together. You never once came with me to visit his grave.
No.
It took something at work to remind you now. I've never needed reminding. It's always been there.
I'm sorry.
I'm sure you are.
I just thought I'd see if you're okay.
I don't need your support.
What if I need yours?
Why? Because you finally decided to acknowledge what happened? That we lost our son? We had years to deal with it together. It never happened. All those times I tried to talk to you about Christopher, all the times I needed you to be there. And now it's too late, Stanley.
Stanley?
Sorry, Bernice. I was either here or the pub.
It is a terrible thing when a marriage fails. And I can't begin to imagine what it must feel like to lose a child. But I do know that unless and until you can acknowledge and feel the pain of these things for yourself, that you are not going to move forward. And your work and your personal life will suffer. We are not invincible, my friend.
Sorry I'm late. Got held up at the morgue. Preliminary autopsy reports on Johnny Fountain and Jane Doe. Cause of death, blunt head trauma.
No surprises there.
Now, here's the interesting bit. All of our victims, including Bernard Misto, had their last meal courtesy of the Bensons.
They would, wouldn't they? Free food.
Each of them also had in their stomach contents and bloodstreams an antipsychotic medication, clozapine, the side effect of which is drowsiness.
Easier to bash someone if they're sedated.
Drug them, whack them, send them off to heaven.
Why didn't it show up in Bernard Misto's original autopsy?
Because he wasn't found for a week and most of it had broken down, easily missed. When they went back looking for it, they found traces.
Bring the Bensons in.
We put a bit of seasoning in the soup, helps them to settle down.
You drugged them.
A little bit puts a smile on their dull, gives them a good night's sleep. I'm quite sure the good Lord would approve.
Clozapine is a Schedule 4 drug. You're administering it without their knowledge. That is a crime.
Where did you get it?
Used to be a psych nurse. Still got a few contacts. It's all right, dear. I do know what I'm doing.
If we contact the health department, they will shut you down.
And who'd take our place, eh? Who'd feed them then? You? You? Tell you what, we won't do it anymore, okay?
Where were you yesterday between 6 and midday?
Same as usual, in my van where I should be now.
Can anyone confirm that?
My husband can.
Anyone else?
Do you think I did away with Johnny and that other poor soul? Is that what you're getting at?
You tell us.
Now, you wouldn't keep a dog in the condition those people live in, right?
No, I wouldn't.
But you acted kindness to put them out of their misery.
Many of them would be better off dead, yes. But there's a little thing called the Sixth Commandment. Thou shalt not kill. Death is a prerogative of the Almighty. It's not for us to dispense. I know what you need.
What's that?
Bit of guidance from the big guy. Let us pray. Dear Lord, nothing is hidden from your sight. All knowledge lives in you. Grant guidance and wisdom to these, your detectives, so they can catch this poor, sick soul.
What's going on?
Killing these
Prayer meeting. She may have a direct line to God, but she stays on our list.
That art teacher Corey Armstrong called?
What did he want?
He wants his picture back, and he had some interesting information. One of Corey Armstrong's mature-age students, Annabelle Harris, works as Human Resources Director for Misto Industries.
And?
Her job brings her into close contact with all members of the board.
So she would have known Bernard Misto?
Yes, so she saw him at life drawing classes.
No, but about 3 weeks ago, Corey Armstrong started bringing the painting he did of Ben into his portrait classes as a teaching aid.
And this woman could have seen it and mentioned it to one of the Mistos.
I've spoken to Mrs. Harris. She says she did mention it, but only generally at the office.
So any one of the Mistos could have found out the old man was still alive, roughing it on the street.
But why kill him?
Well, Owen's son aspires to be the heir. Now, a confirmed dead CEO would have seen a reorganisation of the board.
He'd have got the place his father denied him.
What about Charlotte? If Ben was drugged, she could easily have done it.
Yeah, she wasn't too happy about her husband being sidelined.
No.
Could be that she did it for Owen.
Or they could be in it together.
Or maybe the father had had enough of roughing it, decided to come home.
Which would have threatened Alexandra's newfound power base.
So they're all in the frame.
We just need to work out which one jumped out and did it.
I've got an idea about that.
I don't like it. It's too risky. Thought you didn't like risk, Stan.
Yeah, I thought the drug squad did this kind of thing all the time.
We're trained for it. Your lot aren't. No offence.
Terry, if we do not nail this killer beyond any reasonable doubt, given the resources at their disposal, they will possibly walk.
So I ain't the filthy rich, especially since I'm not one of them.
Yeah.
All right. Sometimes you got to take a risk to get a result, but I want you to have plenty of backup in place. I do not want this to go bad in the end.
Okay.
How's me tie? She straight?
Oh, not really, no.
I'll fix it for us, will you? I'm all thumbs. I've got a live news conference in an hour. Bloody assistant commissioner. I've been to the dunny 4 times already.
Actually, I took the liberty of preparing a statement earlier that should suit our purposes.
Your blood's worth bottling, Stan. Eh? I could kiss you.
Excuse me, Sarge. We're all set.
The Mistos?
Yeah, reluctantly agreed to a meeting at Alexandra's house.
Wow. We wanted to update you in person before we release a statement to the media. We believe that your father was the random victim of a thrill killer targeting homeless people.
You could have prevented all of this.
It's what Dad wanted.
To be clubbed to death? I don't think so.
To help these people, Owen.
You should have told us what was going on, Alex.
And when you release the body, we need to make arrangements.
It's released as of now.
Thank you. Let's go.
We do have some other news. We think that there was a witness to your father's murder, another homeless man who was in the building at the time.
You think?
We've yet to bring him in for questioning, but that is only a matter of time. He's known to police. This is the man.
Show her. She's the one that spent time in the gutter.
Do you recognize him?
No,
Are you sure? Take a good look.
I didn't pay a great deal of attention to my father's new friends.
Well, maybe he did it.
Evidence would suggest otherwise.
He's harmless. Used to be a dentist.
You can keep that. Let me say again, we are very confident of catching your father's killer.
On your back.
hands where I can see them. Drop the weapon.
Drop it. Now.
Your HR director, Annabelle Harris, recognised his picture.
Apparently she was telling everyone he was a dead ringer for my father. Didn't believe it, but I went to see for myself.
What happened?
I saw him leaving the building just as I was pulling up. I was stunned. All that worry, all that sadness and anguish. And there he was whistling to himself.
What did you do?
I almost got out of the car and hugged him at first. Then I saw how happy he was. And I realised he hadn't lost his mind. He turned his back on us. On his family, on everything we'd worked for.
On you?
Everything.
Did you tell your wife that you'd seen him?
What was I going to say to her? That he just walked away from us? That he obviously preferred to live this disgusting, degrading life? Living in filth, with filth?
Is that what they are?
Yes. Did they care about him like I did? Did they love him like I did? He was my father.
Why didn't you just try and talk to him when you found out where he was?
There was no point. He never listened to me. I was never good enough or strong enough.
You let your sister help him. Did you think about killing her too?
If I'd found out earlier, who knows? She watched me suffer and did nothing. But she had the company. He gave it to her. He gave her the company. He gave me nothing.
You had plenty. What did you need?
I needed my father. Why didn't he come to me? He should have come to me.
And that was a reason to kill him?
It wasn't fair. It was never me. It was always Alex. It was never me.
What about the other two people you murdered? Why kill them?
You started to question my family. I needed to create a smokescreen. It's not like they were anyone important.
We get him?
We got him.
Which one was it?
Owen, the son.
Kids, eh, Stan? Can't live with them, can't kill them.
As the slow moments pass, hope is fading fast, and all I really need is somebody to call.